goes along, comes down here and into the security light, and that charges the battery in this security light. This is very bright. Actually, when I come in here, I quite forget to turn the lights on if I'm going on the toilet, what have you. I always forget because it's so bright. It's brighter than probably it looks on the camera actually. It's easy as bright as a I think we've got a 40 watt bulb in here. Well, it's an LED 15 watt bulb there. And I would say it's easy, well, maybe not quite as bright, but very, very bright with these two. These are two side cells. One went on each side of this. So you have one on one side, one on the other, and these two cells. Now this can adjust up and down a bit, and you can tell this one separately. But it's very hard to like tip it side to side. That's what I found anyway. And move back a bit. Now if I stand still, we'll see if it actually detects the movement of me. Or if it detects, yes, so it is movement. I will just move a little bit. So basically it's a night light. It's for our grandson. We did have some, this is almost too bright, this one. Automatically switch on. If you want to go to the toilet during the night, etc, etc. I'll show you the stairs down here. So that's off this security solar light. Turn this light on. There we go. So that's the light, a bit more yellowy, very white light this. And off. So I'm going to get, I did have to, well I suppose I didn't have to, I could have possibly, well I did go into the electronics in here to solder, I think I've soldered the solar cell wires directly to the PCB board, and it does look like one of these lithium ion batteries in there. It's not, it's too big, it's too big diameter. I'll show you inside. Now this is sealed with some silicone, this front screen. It has a couple of screws on, but you have to prise it off. Right, enough of that. I'll, if I get figured out the timing on it, because there's no, as I say, there's no adjustment in the timing on it. Now you do have different light patterns. You can have it come on and then go on 50% after 15 seconds, but that seems to keep on that low light 50 seconds, 50% I mean for, well I don't know how long. I tried it a good half hour and it stopped on at 50%. It just, and I thought, well, it's just going to drain the battery even at 50%. That's what I figured. Right, enough waffle there. I'll try and show you this in the daylight. Well, I will show you this in the daylight as well. It doesn't come on in the daylight, it only comes on when it gets dark. So that's another adjustment you might want to be able to do. So it's timing, how bright it is, and it's mainly how long it stops on for. It's only 15 seconds, it's just not long enough for like what I want. You might just make out some of the lighting in the toilet over there. I'll just stop still again. There we are, see? So it switches on and off, it detects my movement. What normally does. I think I've tilted it down a bit when I've been moving it about to show you. These are, as I say, these are separate, so that can be adjusted separate, like the angle of this bottom one from that one. Okay, now this can unhook off here See, it's got this plate, and this is like a U shape there. It might be hard to see, but that this slots into that. Okay, I'll move the camera a bit here now. It is daytime now. Right, forget the background noise. So what I did here, there was a light on this side, a light on that side that are in the other room I showed you, and that's for that wire there, and those are sorry, that's going out, that's for that wire on this side, going out parallel. And this one, I folded over one of the wires, well, cut the light off, folded over one of the wires, put this heat shrink on it, and I think I've done the solar cell directly in it. Now this cover here, I had to prise it off because it's got like sealant round sort of stuff to try and waterproof it. All these wires are hot glued in, or there's a button. That's how you select different modes. You just press it once or twice. I think it's 3 times I normally use. That's PIR. See, it's a bit loose that now. There's a cover there. So there's the like PIR meter, and you see all the light cells here on this one. Couple of screws here, Phillips. I'll undo those and I'll show you inside, okay? So that's the solar cell from the toilet there. Just show you around a bit. So it can tilt up and down there, and this can tilt up and down. These can like fold a bit this way, but on this there's no rotation like left and right. Obviously you can angle it down like that. But I'm going to show you inside, and I'm hoping I can look at the electronics. I have had this open before, but the circuit board was right against the plate where these LEDs are. Anyway, I'll get this open and I'll show you. Very bright, these, very bright. Actually, I think it's this part that had the seal around. I had to carefully get a screwdriver under the edge and gently, don't force it, just go around a few times, and eventually this has come loose. I mean, this is going to be in the dry, so it's only going to be indoors. So there's a battery there, and that's certainly, I put a knot on this wire, that's for the solar cell, just extreme relief. So you might see some of, can I get the light on this? Just a second. Move my other light over. Any better. See, I think that's one of these lithium batteries there. It's certainly bigger than a AA or something like that. So there's a bit of circuit board down here going across there, which, let me have a look. Actually, I don't know what that is. But you see, there's a circuit board here on the back of this LED unit here, screwed on. Sorry about the lighting here. Have I got that? Have I even got that? Yes, I've got that light on. It seems I'm apparently getting shadows on this. Try and move. A bit slower. So I'll try and take some stills of this as well. Going to move that up. I thought that might be wiring, and that looks almost like it's supposed to be push. Yeah, that's for the switch, that's for the button there, those 4 contacts are for this button that does the mode cycling. So you press it a certain number of times to get different modes. So can't see anything else on that board. Right, can I see any number on this chip? Let me have a look. Now I've had quite a good look at this chip here, this integrated circuit, 8-pin, and there's nothing on it. It doesn't even look like it's been scraped off. Quite a lot of chips will scrape off. Looks totally smooth and flat there, no indication of any numbers. Big resistor, diode down here. Well, I tend to think of it being quite big down there. Some presumably transistors, 3-pin, some resistors and capacitors. So that's where the solar cell has gone in. Yeah, solar there, see, in this corner here. I'll just show you if I can. Yeah, you might see it there. See all the stuff around here to make it waterproof. Maybe some sort of hot glue. It looks a bit like some sort of hot glue to me. And there's a battery there. So the solar cell charges the battery up. And the integrated circuit here, 8-pin microprocessor. Seem to be putting microprocessors in everything nowadays, so I'll have a bit more of a look at this, trying to see if we can figure out anything on it. Right, I've screwed this plate back on. There is a couple of contacts up there that aren't used, I don't know why. Definite transistor marked as cube, something cube 1 or whatever it is. I'll say there are some SMD surface mount sort of resistors on here. You know, just notice that like white almost line going along here and along here, almost as if to separate these power from the rest of the circuit. Because I'm assuming that for the number of LEDs on here, I'm assuming this battery, if it is a lithium, which I think it is, without checking, is only 3.3, and that probably wouldn't be enough voltage or whatever to power all these LEDs. Or if I put that on the right way up. Yeah, I think I am. But as I say, I was hoping that I'd be able to get in here and maybe change some of the resistors, because the timing on it, it's only 15 seconds. Let's see if we can get to go on. No, because the light, there's enough light on the solar cell that won't come on. Right, just show you around again. Oh yeah, the solar cell, the original solar cell goes on here. I've removed it, and I'm using my old solar cell off the other system I had up here, which wasn't very good, to be honest with you. This is much brighter than that one, almost too bright. Quite often I think the big light's on when this is on. Okay, I'm going to put back together, just going to leave it at that, unless I think of anything. I just noticed when I've screwed this back plate on here, these LEDs went totally in line. And that's better now, I've lined them up, screwed it back, well, loosened them off. Just pushed it over a bit and screwed it in, because the front wasn't totally going on, to be honest with you. So I screwed this on. Now this does have a bit of a notch in this cover, like that. That's a notch in, goes at the bottom. Or gently wipe off the PIR if you've got any fingerprints on it, and just almost clips on there. That stops on there, so long as you're not going to bang it off. But when it originally comes, I know there is a like sealant round it. So let's get this back up on that hook. Where am I? Right up there. Yep. Just adjust it a bit there. So I'm going to test it out now, make sure it's still working. I'll have to cover over the thing in the solar cell, because it detects the daylight on the solar cell. It knows when it's day and when it's night. And it will only switch on when it's dark, basically. Yeah, I've laid down the solar cell face down and put that towel, I don't know if you've seen the towel I was using here, over the top of it to make sure no light's getting in the solar cell, and see now it's switching on. And those two, each one of those one was on one side, one on the other side on those brackets I showed you. Now I'll have to reset the button on here, so I think it's 3 presses for what I want.